Hello everyone, you are watching the 2025 Disability and Neurodivergence special on GDQ Hotfix, live from today and tomorrow, November 29th and 30th. My name is Anarchy, and I'm going to be your host for this last little block of runs for tonight. We are, of course, here supporting autistic women and non-binary network in their quest to provide community support and resources for autistic women and gender non-binary people through disability justice, gender and racial equity, as well as neurodiversity and trans liberation. You can donate to AWN Network by clicking the donate button underneath your screen. We are exclusively using the Twitch charity tool as part of Together for Good event this 2025. So if you'd like to donate towards AWN, you can click the donate button underneath your stream. And if you're on mobile, you can also type !donate in chat to donate. We do have a couple donations coming in, so I do want to shout those out right quick. We've got $5 from Dino Physia, $15 from Evie Nix, and $5 from Dystypical supporting the Autistic Women and Non-Binary Network. So thank you so much for donating. But with that, before we get into the run, I do want to shout out a new incentive which people are donating towards. We have an incentive for Dark Souls 3, which is called Protect the Cat. So as you'll see, once we get into the run, we'll have the opportunity to arm one of our commentators for battle with a shield and Estus flask as we speed through Dark Souls 3. So I'm not going to spoil too much, but that's definitely something that you're going to want to see. So the magic number for that is $3,250 for that milestone to protect the cat. But with that, I'm going to stop yapping. I'm going to hand it over to spaceyL1 with Dark Souls 3 80% restricted. So good luck, have fun, and take it away.
Hello, I'm spaceyL1, and I've been a Souls runner for like 8 years now. FromSoft games, especially Dark Souls 3 and Sekiro. And then on my keyboard here, I have another Souls runner as well, Counter Kitty. She's been running just as long as I have, and she's run more Souls games than me, actually. So why don't you introduce yourself as well, KK?
Hi. Good luck.
Excellent introduction.
Yeah.
So we're going to start by making our character. Time hasn't started yet. We want to start Assassin, which is going to let us start with the Spook spell, which is going to let us cancel fall damage, which is helpful. We've got some other ways of canceling fall damage as well, and we kind of want to use those a lot of the time instead of our spell, but we still need to use it a few times. So we do want to start Assassin. And then our burial gift is going to be the fire gem, which we'll be using almost immediately. And then, so we will start the game. When I hit yes here, we'll start time. Ready, 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck.
I'll be skipping this cutscene as soon as it starts. And then I'm going to immediately take off my hat and my top here because I want to stay under 30 equip load for any of my movement sections. Because there's equip load in this game. It doesn't do as much as in the older Souls games. It doesn't increase our stamina regen to be lower. It doesn't give us more iframes. We literally just move farther in the same amount of time when we roll, thus a faster roll. So it doesn't really matter for fights, but in terms of just movement, we do want to be below a certain equip load as much as we can. So I'm going to be shifting my armor off and on like through the whole time. We're coming up to Gundyr here. This is the tutorial boss. I'm going to need to do 13 hits, normal R1s, and then like 4 charged R2s, and then probably 2 R1s, but it kind of depends. So as he's coming alive, 5, there's 7, 8, 9, 10. I have to roll that. That's bad RNG. Just need R3 more though. He's gonna start phasing here. I want to do charged R2. Ooh, I got extra damage off on that charged R2, which is good. He'll stagger here. And then 2 R1s to kill. And since I'm behind him, you can see he kind of wanted to turn to face me here. So, yeah.
Nice, clean.
Doesn't actually get to do anything about it. Yeah, so this is any percent restricted. Any percent restricted is kind of like the medium broken category, as I would call it. True any percent unrestricted fights 1 boss. Everything else gets either skipped or AI broken. And then this category, by comparison, we're going to be like skipping through most of the early game, and then we're going to kind of be doing an intended boss rush at the end. So I do need to... Yeah, I like this category. We used to call it NTD for no teardrop, which is the main glitch used in unrestricted. So this category has like a lot of history actually. And yeah, so we sold our S-Stock there to get the souls we needed. And then we bought a short sword from her, the Shrine Handmaiden there, and we're just gonna use that instead. That's how bad the S-Stock is on current patch. We can get a better weapon, like literally just from the starting merchant. This cheap 500 soul short sword is preferable. And then we also infused it with a fire gem.
Sorry, the Discord delay. The S-Stock was better on release, wasn't it?
Yes, the S-Stock, it was faster on older patches. But it was like, it patched like 1.05, 1.06, like pretty early on. They nerfed it for whatever reason. It wasn't actually that broken, or it wasn't like the strongest weapon in the game back then or anything, but yeah, it did used to be strong. Do you want to explain ladder shenanigans? Yeah.
Yes. We have a little thing coming up here called ladder cancel. Spacey's going to simultaneously hold the weapon out button and the block button while key-handing the weapon. It's coming up right after we kill this guy. He's then going to... Is that quit out normal?
That's our backup. That guy was super aggro that time.
Okay.
So we're gonna get him off
He's
of
then
us.
going to release the block button and immediately interact the ladder. If timed correctly, the animation of using the ladder will be cancelled by going into the weapon art stance. And you'll be able to see that his character will be standing at a different angle. If the time with the ladder interact is too late, nothing will happen. And if he times it too early, he'll mount the ladder as usual. So
There we go. Yeah. So ladder canceling, it's like, it's a fairly tight input, but it's also fairly quick to retry. So it's kind of one of those things you like, as you just run the category longer, you mostly get faster at it, but you will occasionally just like flub it a few times in a row like that. It happens. But yeah, so we're in ladder state now. There's like a couple things that affects. The only thing we care about right at this instant, though, is that the game is no longer saving our grounded position. So this game is constantly saving and always keeping track of where you are. So you can quit out and load right back in where you were, just like we kind of did there. I forgot this is a safety thing. Let me grab that. Yeah, so just like I did to get those enemies off of us. So quitting out is like pretty powerful as just like a tool for escaping enemies and stuff like that. But when we're in ladder state, the game is no longer saving our grounded position. So as far as the game is concerned, our last stable position, where it would return us if we quit out, is all the way back up at the ladder. Which we do want to take advantage of here. So we're going to run down and get this item, and then we're going to quit out to warp back to the ladder here, now that we've got that. But it does mean that I can't do quit outs to de-aggro enemies once I'm in ladder state, because I'll get warped all the way back to where I started. So that, especially for this next skip, that... Nice, okay, that was much better. It's a powerful technique, but it does, in some ways, make you less able to protect yourself.
And it also limits you can only use the items right now that you can use on ladders as well, can't you?
Correct. That I don't have anything on me to demonstrate that. But yeah. And then there's like one other... no? Okay. There's one other effect of ladder state that we didn't bring up that we just used there. Our collider is like super small. It's like, if you look at it like with a model viewer, it's like a little tiny, like kind of dome kind of thing, like between our feet. And so like our hitbox is normal in terms of like enemies attacking us and stuff. But because our collider is so small while we're in ladder state, we can take advantage of like little holes in the collision like that and clip through. There I got the clip because getting the clip isn't too hard, but I got a bad angle, so I lost my momentum. And there we go. I need to actually carry my momentum through that jump to land on that invisible platform. Because yeah, I have spook on so that I avoid fall damage, but in order to keep you from sequence breaking, or attempt to keep you from sequence breaking anyway, if you fall too far with spook, you'll still die. And then I'm going to quit out here to remove ladder state, because it's actually pretty hard to remove ladder state normally. You either need to like quit out or you need a ladder. Like resting at the bonfire and stuff like that actually won't even remove it.
The way speak works is it that as long as that damage would be lethal, that it will still kill you?
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
The game distinguishes between like normal fall damage and a lethal fall in that way. But yeah, we could probably do a frog fact now, though, while we're running through Undead Settlement here.
Oh, there is a Central African frog species called a hairy frog. And I really recommend searching up a picture of one of these guys because they're very uncomfortable to look at. But they have hair-like barbs along their flanks and thighs, which contain arteries. Hairy frogs are also referred to as Wolverine frogs because they apparently intentionally break the bones of their toes so that the bones can project through the skin and function as claws.
We're having to do another put out here. Yeah, they look. I think they look pretty cool. Yeah, or there's some pictures. Some pictures they look pretty cool. They look a little creepy in some.
Let me know when you have some time for some donations as well.
Yeah, we can do that.
Ones coming in. Yeah. We've got, going towards that Protect the Cat incentive, we've got $15 from Carl Germ. We've also got $5 from Zimasu, and then we've also got $20 from Nadia Hooligan, who, once again, congratulations on that really great Sonic Unleashed recompiled run. But all of those are going towards the Autistic Women and Non-Binary Network, as well as that incentive to protect the cat. We were only $25 away from getting that met, so if we get that met, we'll get to protect the cat, and it's going to look pretty cool. So make sure you get your donations in for AWM chat.
Yep, and could you explain fall damage canceling?
Yep, so right then, and also a little bit earlier, you may have noticed that Spacey fell a pretty large drop without taking damage, and what he's about to do that again, right here actually, but what he's trying to achieve here is by jumping and landing right on an edge, his character will go into a roll while they're falling. See that? Spacey will be able to do an additional roll out of this, an additional action out of this roll, and as long as he does it before the roll animation completes. As long as he does it before then. However, holding forward during the roll will cause it to animation cancel early, so for large drops he has to hold forward while jumping to make sure he gets that initial roll. Then go neutral to prevent the early animation cancel. Right before hitting the ground and before the roll animation completes naturally, he can do a dagger quick step to iframe the full damage.
Yes, and the dagger quick step is the easier version. You can do it with just a roll, as KK alluded, but the timing is a bit tighter, and then also the inputs are harder, having to hold forward and the roll at the same time, which maybe sounds like it wouldn't be that hard if you're not like a runner, but if you've had to do something in a game like that where you have to instantaneously hit a button and a direction like at exactly the same time without being able to like buffer it, it's surprisingly difficult. I flubbed it.
Flubbed.
Yeah, we've had some weird mistakes this early game on the early stuff, the easy stuff. But...
we're just trying to take it more at a time.
Yeah, it's all right. So we're coming up to FKS here. This skip has been in the game for a long time. A lot of our older skips were replaced by ladder tech. Especially if you look at all bosses, there's like tons and tons of stuff in all bosses that used to be a bunch of different skips. That's now it's just all ladders all the way down. But this is a good old-fashioned death cam skip. It is also pretty difficult. So I'm going to... Nice. Okay, cool.
Let's go.
The dog can still end my life. Okay, it did not. Good. Yeah, so our camera's pretty messed up here, which is, you may be noticing. This is what we call a death cam. So these are like specific triggers that are placed over kill boxes in a lot of places. And the intention behind them is just that when you fall to your death, you don't want the camera to just like follow you all the way down to where there's like no normal collision or textures or things like that. So it makes it so the camera gets stuck in place as you fall to your death. There's like some unintended side effects to this though. It switches our controls into like a kind of a tank control thing. It's like a little bit more scuffed than actual tank controls, but essentially it's tank controls. And then as you can see, we also can no longer hit load triggers. So there are some invisible trees here that I could bonk in, even though they're not like visually there. And then like all the walls and stuff are there, even though you can't see them. But this shortcut door, however, since it is a placed object on the map, is not loaded. So I can walk through the shortcut door and then open it and then load back in to get rid of my death cam here. So yeah, there's like, we've had a bunch of different kind of death cam skips like throughout the Souls games history. It's like something that's in big in DS1 as well, and is possible in like most of the Souls games. It works a little bit different in some of them. But yeah, in this case, like getting the death cam is really hard, but at least the movement you have to do, despite your controls being messed up, it's like a pretty simple movement, invisible trees aside. So that's not like too bad.
And
Can I
the
equip all
purpose
that?
of this is so we can skip Burn Deep, which
Yeah.
if you had played Dark Souls 3, you would understand why.
Yeah, we're running the opposite direction from the swamp right now, basically. It's kind of over to the left there. But yeah, I'm gonna grab this in case I die to the Guru, because otherwise it's a long run back.
I love that you're on first name basis with him.
Yeah. Yeah, we go way back.
Yeah, I bet.
But yeah, the timing to just like barely touch that death cam with your toe, you have to like run off the edge and then do like a very precise jump over to the left on the slope there. And so the hardest part of this particular death cam skip is just timing getting the death cam. As opposed to like some older stuff we had, like Wilhelm skip in all bosses that sadly is obsolete now. But Wilhelm skip, it's like easy to get the death cam, but then you have to like run up these branches that are all twisty and turny and with your screwed up camera and controls. It's tough. Now we're gonna do Watcher's Glitch. I'm gonna be careful. This is a pretty easy skip, but I can't really retry it if I fail it, so that should work. Yeah, so that was just some very specific movement I did to put my foot in a specific position. Remember I mentioned like stable position and stuff? I'm putting my foot in a spot, here we go, where the game will not save my position, or it will save my position, sorry, when it's not supposed to, because it's not supposed to save your position in here. And so yeah, then we load back in inside the arena and his AI is disabled. And then I just did a little buff thing there, if KK you could explain it while I...
So you might have noticed that Spacey's character can scratch their butt for a minute. For this fight and one other in the run, that little action was called tumble buffing, a glitch that allows us to stack a resin on top of an already buffed weapon, which is otherwise not possible. The glitch is achieved by using your chosen resin, which we of course can't do successfully right now because our weapon has already been buffed. So we'll enter like an art scratching animation, but the full animation of buffing our weapon will be stored in the game's memory. When we pop a spell and then use another consumable quickly enough, both the animation and ID of the item of the resin will still be stored. Thus, a double buff.
Yep, and I'm just doing the exact same thing mechanically here, where I'm like trying to use a soul and then canceling it, but then if I drop the soul on the ground before the buff goes off, then I actually can't consume the soul because it's not in my inventory, so I just get a free 20k soul. So that's a little dupe there. It works the same way that we just did. You could read some donations now, though, while I run through here.
Yeah, I do have a couple. We've got $10 from Spectre Agent 2. We've also got another $10 from Gun M. So thank you so much for those donations towards organizing and focusing on transformative and restorative justice in disability spaces towards AWN. We are only $5 away from that incentive to protect the cat. I know one of you is probably sniping it as we speak, but and there we go. We've got $5 from Kupo. So we are going to be protecting the cat. Thank you so much for getting that incentive made and for raising $3,250 for AWN. We really appreciate it.
Extending my lifespan.
Yeah. I want to give this some wiggles. Okay, but I don't want to take too much damage attempting that. You can just kind of clip up on top of that pot by wiggling like that. It doesn't save too much time over running this way here.
Oh,
And we can pick up some extra stuff. Yeah, that jump was very briefly optimal. There was a very short period where we were doing that jump, but we hadn't found a fence skip yet. So I do still have that mostly in my muscle memory from ages ago. That sucks. He was in a really bad spot, to be fair. He was like right by it. That's
just
okay.
open your nostrils.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the worst thing is when he's like right by the thing. That's okay though. So why we have embers. Increase our health by 10%. But I'm glad you're at least safe, KK, even if I am not, with your grass crest shield.
Oh, but you have the same shield.
This is true. And yeah, the grass crest shield, it's a very cool and iconic thing, especially for speedrunners, because it's relevant in a lot of Well, it's relevant in Dark Souls 3 and DS1, the games that it's in, because it isn't just a shield, it also like buffs your stamina recovery. Yeah, that's alright.
And you
Not
still get the
wiggling
buff
on.
from it, as you can see. Spacey, for a little while there, just had it on his back. You still get the stamina buff, even when
Yeah.
it's not really actively in your hands.
Yeah, so I have to go back up here to grab my souls, unfortunately, because I do need them. The alternative would be duping a bunch. Yeah, see, he was like way over here this time. That would have been a lot better, I would have thought. Wow.
Dude, everything's happening this run.
Yeah, I mean, as long as late game goes better, it's fine. Yeah, this has
I only
been...
have so many frog facts.
Yeah, now's probably a good time for one.
Oh. Instead of drinking water like most animals do, frog skin is incredibly absorbent, and you can tell that by looking at them. They're wet as hell. And many of them have a thin patch of skin on their belly that they use for such a purpose. All they have to do after becoming dehydrated is sit in a pool of water, and in human environments, the absorption of their skin allows them to not have to seek water out at all.
That's a good frog
Which is sad.
fact.
Oh, thank you. 'Cause, I don't know, it'd be nice to see a frog, like, you know, lapping at a little pool of water on there.
Sipping, yeah.
Yeah.
KK is a...
The Kemet T gif is a lie.
That's true. Maybe he can drink for pleasure still, if not for necessity. But KK is a big believer in hydration, so...
Should I say?
Yeah, I'm just gonna go this way. They're all the way over here, man.
Right.
Dude.
Oh, he's trying. God damn. Oh,
I don't know how that
dude.
guy... And I got daggered. Man.
Okay, it's crazy that you got through all that.
And then, yeah, it's wild.
Really, the last hit that got you?
It's not that common to die here. Like, this can be dangerous, but this many times in a row, even having to grab my souls and stuff, it's like really not that typical. Yeah, it's all right though.
It's an annoying spot, but marathon luck.
You just usually don't die that many times. Well, my souls will be farther down at least. I hate that too, where you pick up your souls. If you pick up your souls and then die, they can end up farther back than they were. Depending on like, because your last valid position can lag like a little bit behind where you like physically are.
At least we don't have the Bloodborne, you know, the enemies got your souls now kind of thing.
This is true, yeah.
You know how, whenever you run a game like this in a marathon, someone goes like, damn, I thought Dark Souls was meant to be hard. You're trying to give them the two experience.
Yeah. Well, see, that was a much more typical pattern. Like, just the two guys, right? Like, I don't know how I ended up with so many guys last time. But we're through. Okay. And I can
like
put...
your company.
Oh, I appreciate that. Put my other stuff on here. So this may look like a bridge to you, but to us Dark Souls 3 pros, we can see this for what it really is. A ladder waiting to happen. So we're going to wait for that. I'm going to do an extra little dupe here while we're waiting, because it takes ages to be able to actually use this ladder. And then we're going to... Right, there we go. Very quick little ladder cancel. So we are in ladder state again. Gonna butt scratch there.
Every bridge is just a latitude.
A bridge to what? A bridge to ladder state. Our favorite thing. And so this is the only other fight we're gonna tumble buff for. This is Wolnir. He's gonna be pretty quick with tumble buff. 1, 2, and 3 breaks the bracelet. 8 hits on this one. 1, 2, 3. That's an annoying attack, but it's fine. 4, 5, 6, 7. Regen stam. 8. 5 on this one. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we meet it down here. Up. And then for some reason, if you do the quick kill, he survives on 1 HP. So we had to hit his like normal hand like a little bit there. But yeah,
That's interesting.
perfectly fine. I mean, it's because like for some reason, like we understand generally like mechanically why it happens. Like if you attack a bracelet too soon after the other one has broken, it takes like his health takes less damage, even though the bracelet takes like normal damage. So like we understand how it works. It's just odd, and we don't know why it's programmed that way. But like you kind of actually can end up having to do 2 hits on the arm after you break both bracelets if you attack the second bracelet too soon as well. So we just deliberately don't do that.
Classic, you're speedrunning, but you're doing it too fast.
Yeah. So I'm going to clip off of this enemy here with our ladder state that we got. There we go. Doggo has 2 attacks he can do. They're both perfectly fine for clipping off of, but you do have to clip off of them differently. So we got the faster one there, which is nice. They're pretty similar speed. I'm not like decrying bad RNG or something if I get the grab attack instead, but happy with that. A little backup blossom here. But yeah, so that was doll skip. We've had like a bunch of different ways of doing doll skip over the years. This is like the fastest by far, and also maybe the easiest. One of the easier ones, certainly. I'm gonna rest to get my FP back here because I need more magic for shenanigans. But yeah, so you're supposed to have to go through a port, like a kind of a barrier at the edge of that bridge there. That bridge is not a ladder, it's a bad bridge. We hate that bridge because it can't be a ladder. But so to get through it though, normally you need the small doll, and you get the small doll from going over through Sage and Deacons. So by doing that little clip there, we actually skip all of Sage and Deacons area. So it's like 5 minutes plus that you save by doing that little clip. Very big time save. Cut the time on this category a lot when we first started finding doll skips that we could do. The original doll skip required teardrop, which is like the old kind of glitch that we can't do in restricted. But yeah, once we started finding other ways to do it, that would let you skip Sage and Deacons, but not everything else that were legal in this category. You can do one little clip there as well. A little jar clip as a treat. And then I'm gonna position here. Since we're still in ladder state, we have to do this drop. Just land on this little platform here, which just barely won't kill us. And yeah, we can make our way to Yorm now. Estus cancel on this little ledge there. I have to get by this gargoyle, and yeah, we are still in ladder state, so if I were to die, my souls would end up back at that bridge, and if I quit out, it would also put us back. All the way back at that bridge. So there we go. We get on and off that ladder to get rid of our ladder states so that we can do this. Spook quit out. This is the only one we do in this category, I think now. And you skip this one too, actually. But yeah, so basically, even though that was a lethal fall, so the game wanted to kill us. It wanted to kill us so badly. But having Spook on makes it take longer to decide that we should in fact be dead. And in fact, it takes long enough to decide that the game will save our position on the ground below us before it decides that we're dead. So I can just quit out and reload the game there. And I will load back in on the bottom before I actually die.
We have an interesting boss coming up. His name is Element. He's interesting for a couple reasons. He's a big player, but primarily because his fight uses a recurring from-stock mechanic where we can chip him extremely slowly to death if we want, but in his boss arena, as you can see up here, is the only weapon that does significant damage to him, and even then, only if we're charging its special attack ups fully. So obviously, right now, Space is gonna abandon our beloved twin swords for this fight.
That was a good headshot. Yeah, so even though we're using a special weapon, this fight is still all about stamina management. So you can see doing this uses my stamina up completely. I think that was a little slow there. Okay, we're fine. We got good RNG. Yeah, I'm actually going like way into stamina debt, in fact. That was actually a really good fight. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna pop this soul. I'm gonna do one extra dupe here. Oh, no, I removed this. I'm dumb. So this isn't in the run normally. That's why my muscle memory on it is kind of off. There we go. Cool. So we did all our extra dupes. Yeah, you
we're
go
doing all
ahead.
these dupes just for safety's sake.
Yeah, this will let us get 16 vigor for the late game instead of being at base vigor the whole time like we would be in actual runs. Which is quite frightening. So we get like 2 shot by most things that way and like 1 shot by quite a few things
Ashen 1.
as well. But this will let us get 16, so we get 3 shot by most things instead. And there are very few things that can 1-shot us, but there are still things that will 1-shot us. So. But, you know, when you're used to having no extra health, it feels nice. Okay, there we go.
Be careful.
And yeah, so we can finally upgrade and use our twin blades here. And so our levels here.
Well, I
Oops.
should
Alright.
very
Okay. So we get 16, which we would not normally do, and then we get 39 dex. We can go to 40, but we don't want to go to 40 because we won't have enough to upgrade our twin blades later if we use all our souls now. So we have to hold on to these souls for a little bit longer. There we go. Enjoy some keyboard mashing.
Yeah, you can really tell when you've swapped the menuing.
Yeah, it's a little faster to menu with keyboard and mouse, especially because you can skip through dialogue faster with the scroll wheel. So if you want to be a controller cultist like I am, you have to also still use keyboard and mouse for some stuff.
Do you think now would be a good time for donations?
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, real quick, before I share a donation with you, I do want to talk a little bit about why we are here and what we're raising money for. I want to talk about the Autistic Women and Nonbinary Network, which provides community support and resources for autistic women and gender non-binary people through disability justice, gender and racial equity, and neurodiversity and trans liberation. Their goal is to dispel stereotypes and misinformation that causes unnecessary fears surrounding an autism diagnosis. By supporting community initiatives, providing aid, and individual support, AWN is working towards autism acceptance and disability justice. You can all find out more at awnnetwork.org. And supporting at AWN, we have $25 from Dragoness Sammy. So thank you so much for sending that in. Make sure you can continue to get your donations in supporting AWN. We really appreciate it.
This is where we're glad that the cat has the shield. These dogs are quite frightening. We made it through the hard part before that one teleported over to me.
Oh, thank God we don't have to hold ladder stay here.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, whoops. That's fine. Extra. Okay, we're good though. Yeah, so I was gonna try to do that without that safety quit out, but yeah, then they caught up to us, and like, I'm not dying there for that. Okay, now we'll do this. We have more Parthis Rouge, which is this bleed resin here, than we need, so I can waste a few. Even in the normal run, we buy more than we need just because it's faster menuing, because you can just tab up to buy 11 instantly instead of having to do extra inputs to actually buy the amount you need. There's like a couple places where we route in extra souls to be able to do that. Now this is Pontiff. Casually, very difficult. It still takes some time to learn the speed cycle, but it's a very scripted fight, as you can see. So once you've been doing it for years, yeah. This is the only hard part. I need to wait like a little bit before I do that 4th hit, so I get that consistent stagger there. And then I can just finish him off as he's doing his phase 2 clone summon there, and you see that bleed proc. And yeah, so that like ton of damage that we did right there at the end, that is a bleed proc. That's what Parthis Rouge does. There's a meter that you can't see, but when I hit an enemy with Parthis Rouge, it's building like this meter that eventually causes the bleed proc that does a bunch of damage all at once. It does make it kind of difficult to route certain fights optimally because like the meter has like a passive degen over time, so it's kind of hard to tell. Like on some fights anyway, it's hard to tell when you're going to get a bleed proc. And so that can make it like a little scary to use, but it is incredibly strong, especially on this patch. This guy, this is an NPC. People call him Jon Snow because he looks like Jon Snow. Shoutouts to KJ. But we're gonna run up here. We're gonna pick up the Easterner's Ashes up here, which are gonna let us buy infinite large Titanite shards, which is an upgrade material. So for a long time, like different weapons have like different upgrade paths in this game that take different materials. So for a long time, we thought that normal Titanite weapons really wouldn't be that fast to use compared to like the Twinkling Titanite weapons we used to use. Because you have to pick up like so many individual items for it. So like to get from normal to +3, you have to pick up 12 regular Titanite shards, and then 12 larges to +6, and etc. And then people figured out that like, oh, we could just buy everything all at once, and then it doesn't matter that we need so many. And so that's what we do now. We just route in the stuff that we need to just buy and use upgrade materials. Now, that means we can't get to +10 or +9 even, at least in this category. So we're only going to buy up to +6 here, and we will finish the game with a +6 weapon. But honestly, that's mostly pretty comfy with our bleed damage being so insane. And then, yeah, that quit out just warps the elevator down. This is one of the few quit outs that's like actually, it saves real time because this elevator takes forever. But yeah, we're just gonna do this in more menuing. Do we have donations to read still?
Not currently, but
Okay.
I can always talk about a charity, or we can also do a frog fact. I'm not gonna lie, I like frog facts.
Yeah, we do a frog fact.
Okay. Oh gosh, I should have searched up the pronunciation of this. Titicaca water frogs are a species of frog found only in a lake between Peru and Bolivia. They are notable for their sea-police skin folds, which gives them a very wrinkled, almost kind of like pit bull appearance, which of course gives their skin more surface area and allows them to absorb more oxygen from water than the average frog. This works so well that they don't need to use their lungs at all. When oxygen level is low, they can absorb more by stretching their limbs out and bobbing up and down.
Awesome.
Way more absorbent than your average frog. Oh, there's a donation right there.
Yeah, with that, I do want to shout out $100 from John Tall. Thank you so much for sending that in support of disability, gender, and racial justice and AWN. Thank you so much.
Wow.
Okay, so there's a guy up here who never hits you. LOL, let's all point and laugh at him. He tries it every time. He thinks he's gonna this time, but he never does. So we're gonna do like a weird fall damage cancel. This one is probably like intended, but weirdly, if you just drop onto this floor here, you just don't take fall damage unless you fall from like really high up, or if you land on this chest. So I just need to not hit the chest. That's like the one thing I need to do as I jump over that. That should be clear. There it was. And yeah, you just don't take fall damage there for some reason. It's strange. And then we're going to try to break the AI of this boss here by entering this fog gate from as far away as possible and then doing a backstep to avoid the trigger. Oh, okay. That's fine. Yeah, it's like first attempt, it's fine because you could just quit out and reattempt it, but like the first attempt, you have to just kind of go for it quickly because if you don't, you'll get nailed in the back of the head by a fireball and then you have to heal and stuff, and that's way worse. So we just want to, like now we can just kind of tippy-toe up. Probably will work. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, and now Aldrich has no AI, which is cool. I don't hate this fight casually as much as like a lot of people do. But it was annoying in speedruns because you could lose time just based on like how many times he teleported and there was nothing you could do about it. So it was a pure RNG chance to just lose 10 to 15 seconds depending on his attacks that he would do. So it's nice for this fight to be all comfy and consistent now.
So that AI break, even though it looks pretty different, that's kind of the same idea as the AI break for the Abyss Watches, isn't it?
Yeah, we found a way to go through the fog gate and not hit the AI trigger, basically. But yeah, it's the same thing. Like the AI trigger is like, for a lot of bosses, is like either in the fog gate or like just inside the fog gate as that one is and stuff like that. So sometimes we can avoid them. Okay, so this is Dancer. So I want to do 6 hits here to get her close to staggering. Yep, knew she was going to do that. 6, perfect. 7, 8 to stagger. Combo her as she's phasing. And then I'm gonna kind of walk behind her here. 2, 3 to stagger, and then 2 to kill.
Dude, always looks so cool.
Yeah. So her spin has a hitbox that only kind of extends in front of her, basically. So if you walk behind her like that, you can actually punish her while she's doing it. It's not too hard, actually, just to walk behind her and not get hit. It's pretty generous. What is hard is actually hitting her without getting yourself hit while she's doing it. But yeah, with some practice, it's very doable. This boss coming up is definitely the scariest in the run. It's the hardest boss to not die to. Some of the other fights I think are harder to optimize, but our damage is very low in this because this boss does not bleed, which has been the thing we've been doing to make up for our damage being bad. So we have to focus a little bit through this movement section. Cool. Yeah, so, and then on top of that, he does like a lot of damage, and then there are these butterflies flying around. I hope this doesn't mess up the dragon cycle. Okay.
Okay.
It did. Okay, that's fine. I have to do an extra quit out.
That's okay.
But yeah, so there's these butterflies that are flying around above him, and when he gets low on health, they'll start hurtling magic at us. Okay, I'm just gonna make sure I don't die. That fire can destroy me if I get hit by it while I'm waiting in the menu there. And then I know we'll be able to make it from here, at least.
I love that we always call them butterflies. I know that's like their actual name, but they don't look the way that you would expect.
Yeah, that's funny. We were talking about butterflies in the green room before this. The kind of butterflies we raised in school don't look like these ones. But yeah, the game refers to them as pilgrim butterflies, so it's like, okay, game, you're the game, I guess. Do a little fall damage cancel there.
Yeah, so coming up here right after we enter the boss gate, you're gonna notice Spacey's gonna do a little interesting movement. He's gonna hold the staff with both hands and then sprint forward and turn 180 degrees while sprinting, which causes a long pivot animation. While he's in that animation, he's going to use a staff weapon art, which normally would buff the power of the staff. Oh, there we go. I'll hit on the menu during that pivot, and then once the buff animation begins, he'll unequip the staff. And we're trying it again. The animation will finish, but it will buff his twin blades instead of the staff, increasing the physical damage for 15 seconds.
Yeah, that's so the problem there, it's the same thing as the fall damage cancel. If I accidentally hold forward on the stick, it'll cancel the animation and I won't get the buff. But we got it this time. You can see I've got my nice blue raspberry twin blades now. Okay, this pattern is really bad.
Scary.
He's not doing anything. Okay, I'll just heal up here. We're gonna have to deal with some butterflies.
If you're curious about the butterflies, if you can kind of see them in the background there. They're like flying in the distance. It's a very vague usage of the term butterfly, but
Okay. They actually did some pretty good attacks, though. Okay.
nice.
We played that really safe, but yeah. Oh, he's gonna fire a big meatball. I need to be over here. Yeah, there's another one. Yeah, I got a really bad pattern to start. And so that's the thing about the pivot buff. It's actually pretty strong, but the reason we don't do it more often, other than just bleed being like even stronger most of the time, is that that pivot buff only lasts for 15 seconds. So it's like if I get a really bad pattern at the start there and I don't get much damage out of my buff because he's shielding all the time, it's really hard to get a good fight then. And so I was like, okay, we're just in this fight for the long haul. I'm just gonna strafe around him and pick my openings very carefully so that I don't get killed by the butterflies. But the worst thing the butterflies can do is they can do, like, we call it the little meatballs, or just meatballs, where it's like a bunch of little projectiles that'll just kind of chip you down. So we're lucky that they didn't do that. They did the laser and then the big meatball instead.
Little meatball.
Yeah, that was frightening, but that's DSA. DSA be frightening sometimes. And then this area is scary, but mostly fine. As long as I do everything correctly. This area is a very scary spot for new runners especially, but
Yeah.
it gets to be very consistent. Okay, failed the fall damage cancel.
I think now would be a good time for donations, right?
Yep.
Yeah. We've got $25 from Crack-a-Lack Attack. Awesome username, by the way. And that will help go towards events hosted by and designed for autistic and disabled people, run by the Autistic Women and Nonbinary Network, who we are here supporting during this Disability and Neurodivergence special on GDQ Hotfix. We also had another $5 come in as well, going towards AWN. So thank you all so much for donating, and we hope you continue to do so as we go through the rest of the night.
And then there's this gargoyle here who can be really annoying, or he can just charge off the edge and die. He chose violence today. That's okay. He frequently chooses violence.
You kind of said annoying, like you were trying to do like a weird Aussie accent.
I wasn't this time. That's a hobby of mine, is trying to learn KK's beautiful culture. But no, it's not ready. It's not ready for prime time. That's what I'll say. I don't think it's ready for prime time. Yeah. No, anyway. I'm gonna get this elevator here.
Okay. All right.
Get that elevator in case we
somewhere.
don't. Yeah. And then we've got the biggest staircase in the world. It's literally Guy City over here, as KK would say.
Yeah.
If she were here.
Oh, thank God she's not.
And then these guys can all buff, or they can all choose violence. Okay, 1 buff, 2 buff. 2 buff is pretty good.
Whoa.
Double buff is
Nice.
pretty good. Yeah, the triple buff is like just peak, but you can't expect triple buff like every time, you know? The guy with the giant greatsword is the one who can just absolutely murder you. So if he buffs, then it's like a pretty good day, honestly. Now we got princes. I'm going to try to be doing a specific movement in phase 1 to try to end phase 1 in a specific spot that'll let me do a very safe phase 2. So that's annoying, but that's fine. Manip is teleport over there. And I'll be trying to stay behind him now. I have to roll that one. That one will always miss. And then he'll stagger here. I need him to move like down slightly. Okay. We're just gonna do phase 2. I'm making the command decision.
Okay. Look at marathon.
So this is the way we used to do this fight.
Normally.
Yeah. Fortunately, I still have my, I still remember how to fight this boss. But yeah, if we had managed to keep him in the front there, I knew that would stagger, that's why I went for that.
Nice.
Yeah, if we'd managed to end the fight right here, he spawns over there and he doesn't actually see us. And so we can kind of very carefully just whittle Lothric's health down without hitting Lorien. And his AI will never activate. Which is faster if you do it right. But it's not so much faster that I'm going to waste time baiting him all the way back over there if he teleports at the last second like that, unfortunately. It was definitely like a little bit of my movement mistake, though. Like, I should have been a bit more aggressive, and we would have been fine. But it was good until then, so it's fine.
You said something about manipulating the teleport. How does that work?
So depending on his opener, which he only has 2, you can tell what direction relative to you, the way your character is facing, that he's going to teleport in. So if he does that slow double hit opener, he'll always teleport the way that you're facing. So I just have to face like towards the stairs there to make him teleport over there like I did. Oh,
Damn.
no cancel. If he does the other one, the quick attack's a bit more annoying. You have to start moving yourself over sooner because with that one, he'll teleport either to the side or behind you. So you want to kind of run over and like turn yourself around, basically. And it's harder to get him in exactly the spot you want him if he does that one. But it does still work. So yeah, basically the way his combos work, that's the thing, that's what's so cool about princes. Like, it's a very hard fight to decipher when you're learning it. There's so much going on. He has so many different attacks and like to know where he's going to teleport and stuff like that. But his attacks are all like kind of specific combos that involve him teleporting in specific places, or at least, you know, within a certain range of places. And so the more you do the fight, the more you just kind of get a feel for where he's always going to be. And that just makes the fight really satisfying to learn once you kind of come to understand that. Okay, this is Cinder. I'm going to be trying to get good staggers. I'm going to be hoping that he does not do curve sword. 1, 2.
And to people who don't know this game, this is the final boss.
He'll stagger here. One, two. This is a really good phase 1 so far. There's curve sword.
God damn it.
I've got a lot of health though.
So to those who are unfamiliar, basically first phase, or the first health bar of Cinder, his whole gimmick is that he will go through
Okay. That's really bad.
different builds, basically, that are like representative of like NPC builds. So now we have the Pyromancer build, which is the worst one.
Yeah, it literally just has fewer openings. It's not even just harder, it's just like, it's just slower. There we go, okay. Like to the point where at top level, you can just lose runs because you get curve sword. Roll that.
Now he's buffed for the rest of the fight, isn't he?
No, well, actually, I don't know. That's a good question. I can't tell if it's persisting into phase 2. I'm gonna play safe here though. I can strafe that. Yeah. Can take that, that's fine. He might die in a bleed here, but I don't want to risk it. Okay, no, he wouldn't have, but there we go. Okay.
Nice,
Yeah,
GG.
that late game wasn't bad. That early game was terrible. The late game wasn't bad. And time will be when I activate this, and time.
GG's.
Hey.
Okay, yeah. That early game was so terrible. That late game needed to go okay. Yeah, and Cinder did his best to make us overestimate there, so I'm happy about it. But yeah, so I'm happy to get back to doing PB attempts of this game.
Yeah. No more RTA.
Yeah, and then yeah, definitely check out KK. Give her a follow if you haven't. She's amazing. Big Souls player and runner.
Thank you.
And she's great. Yeah. But,
You're not gonna shout yourself out?
I mean, I'm
Yeah, I was
here.
gonna say you better shout yourself out.
I also stream. I will be running this for the foreseeable future, and am sometimes working on my first playthrough of Neo, which is also a game. And then I do Night Rain with Ellen on Sundays. So if you like Night Rain, Deep of Night and stuff, I play Night Rain with KK too, but that's just us. So you can't watch that. I'm sorry.
Well, thank you, Spacey and KK, so much for that amazing run of Dark Souls 3. And thank you all so much for getting that incentive met to protect the cat. That is the most protected looking cat I think I've ever seen.
Yes, I'm so excited we got to do that.
Yeah, but GG's, and thank you all so much for showcasing that run. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break here. So make sure you unshrimp your backs, you get hydrated, and do all that fun stuff. And we will be back soon. More with the 2025 Disability and Neurodivergence Special.